Well, that's not actually true.
It's actually not true.
A lot of people think that.
That's a common myth. You know, I've heard that.
Okay, that one actually is true.
And this is Should Have Asked the Tour Guide. Hey guys, Camden here with
Becca, hi.
We are part of Free Tours by Foot and Top Things to Do DC with another episode of
Should Have Asked the Tour Guide.
Thank you for getting that. We didn't even practice
Not
it.
even rehearsed.
So I am back from New Orleans. Florence did not come with me. So we thought we'd do another episode for you guys this week. Okay, so we are here in Georgetown, which is my favorite part of Washington, D.C. Shameless plug, I have had 2 books published on the history of Georgetown.
She literally wrote the book on Georgetown.
The only Camden on Amazon. So it's really easy to find me. So we thought we'd go over some of the common questions that we get about Georgetown. Now, so we're in Georgetown, which means we are not in Washington, D.C. anymore?
No, we are definitely still in Washington, D.C. So sometimes people think Georgetown is a separate part of D.C., which is not true today, but has its roots in some truth. Okay. So if you've watched some of our other videos, you might know this. So in 1790, Congress passes something called the Residence Act, which establishes a federal district to become the new capital city. George Washington is going to plan out and map out our nation's capital. But Georgetown had already existed. By the time 1790 rolls around, Georgetown had been a bustling tobacco port for more than 50 years. Okay, Camden, so we're in Georgetown. Who is Georgetown named for?
All right, so George in the 1700s was a very popular name. So there are many options, and there are a few that have been passed around throughout the years, and we know some of them are not true. So the town of George is not named after George Clooney, unfortunately, though I would name a town after him. And it is not named after George Washington. George Washington was like 19 years old when the town of George was founded, and that's basically middle age in the 18th century, and there are plenty of well-accomplished 19-year-olds at that time, but George Washington was not one of them. Now, it's probably named after King of England. Maryland was a colony at the time, so it's King George II, who was father of King George III, who we would later rebel against. But at this point, we're fine, and we are still naming things after British royalty. But it could also be named after the 2 men who owned this land first. And they either willingly or forcibly sold their land to kind of create this port town of George, and that was George Gordon and George Bell. So it is definitely named after a George. We just don't know which one. Totally keeping this.
If you visit Georgetown today, it does feel apart from Washington in some ways, and so much of that is rooted in the fact that it was its own established town long before the District of Columbia was established.
And visiting Georgetown is something we highly recommend. Becca and I are in Georgetown regularly. We offer 3 tours of the neighborhood. There's the historic Georgetown tour, the Ghosts of Georgetown tour, and an adults-only Wicked Georgetown tour. So if you guys have any more questions about Georgetown, let us know in the comments below. Tag us on social media at Top Things to Do, hashtag Should Have Asked a Tour Guide, or sign up for a tour and ask us in person.
Come visit Georgetown yourself.